It's great to hear Deontay Wilder say he wants a rematch with Tyson Fury and he wants it next. It's all too common for fighters these days to say, speak to my manager about it, speak to my promoter about it. They just pass it off. They're very indirect. They're not assertive enough. Suddenly they become somebody who doesn't want to get involved in a fight. It's very annoying and repetitious. But no, there doesn't seem to be any fogginess about this one. Wilder wants Fury. Fury wants Wilder. It should be fairly easy to make. Now, looking back at the first fight, it got me thinking about fights being made at the right time. We talk about the timing being right. Now, often, well, recently, that's often referred to fighters trying to gain an edge over someone, but in the purest sense, it means fighters being at their best and in their prime. But ironically, I think had the prime Fury fought Wilder, the guy who beat Klitschko, had he remained active, there's a very good chance, a very good argument, looking at how the first fight just went, that Fury would have outboxed him and wouldn't have had the trips to the canvas. Now, in terms of the performance, in terms of his legacy, that would have been great, but at the same time, it would have sucked the life a little bit out of the division and denied us what we hope, or are still hoping, you could say, could turn into a bit of a golden era. Now that that first fight had the great tumbles to the canvas, particularly in the last round, and we got Joshua on the other side, the chips have fallen in a very interesting way. And the rematch between a Wilder and a Fury now is very appetizing. Now, in terms of motivation, I question Tyson Fury. The first fight against Wilder, yes, it was a split draw, but a lot of people believe he won. And in a way, the fight was more about just winning a fight. It was about beating another man. It was about, even though technically he drew with him, it was about getting over his depression, this whole journey. You know, he knows he should be odds-on favourite to get comeback fighter of the year. In a way, all of that means more than winning the fight. And Fury said, we know where he's at. There's that aspect, and then one day he can wake up, he's happy, the next he's all over the place. I think we still know what kind of up and down character he is. So while he still wants to be a great champion, he still wants to be the most charismatic champion after Muhammad Ali. On other days, he talks about how worthless the belts are, how they don't define him, and I could be dead the next day. You know, he does sometimes talk like this. It's great that mentally he's in a very good place right now, but we know Tyson Fury is a bit of a bipolar character. He is self-confessed a bit of a strange individual. Now, in terms of how a rematch will go on paper, Fury has to be the favourite. He just surely has to stick to the blueprint that we kind of knew going into the fight and that he nicely outlined during the fight. Stick a move, make it awkward, don't let Wilder get set, and then maybe, just do that with superior fitness this time, slightly better reactions, throw in some more tactical rhythm-breaking clinches, get him to reset more, and he might be able to do a bit of a clean sweep this time. With Wilder and his motivation, he should have more motivation now. We've got more people probably saying, look, I know he did well, but he's the weakest of the three champions. His boxing's terrible. I know Wilder seems to live in his own world at times and talks about how great he is and goes off on one. But he'll be hearing this criticism. He'll want to do better. At the start of the first fight, he threw a great right hand to the body, which was the right thing to do. He was looking to chop down there, Fury's kind of more portly midsection. I thought, right, okay, we know he's low output, but he's going about this the right way. But once it got to round 3 and 4, he just got stuck in the mud, was looking at him. And again, yeah, his boxing went terrible. The only time I really heard in his corner, previous great boxer Mark Breland, was before the 12 started. He just said, throw the right straight, which is one of the few things I heard because he was much quieter in their corner. It was very hard to see. Sorry. And then Wilder, of course, landed a great right, but he needs to really be looking to box a bit more. He said he was hesitant, but it's to do with tactical problems against a tricky guy. He needs his trainer, in this case, to inject, as best as he can, a tight game plan. Going to the body, I think, is the first key for a guy who's just unashamed headhunter. He needs to invest a bit for a guy who does have a bit more of an hourglass figure for a fighter. So, on paper, Fury probably to win the rematch. Early days yet, though. A lot to analyse and to consider. But always exciting. As we always know, Wilder only ever needs that one lottery shot.